3.1 functions, this is domain and range. It's just a quick extension from our previous lesson. So when we're focusing in on domains, those are the x values or the input. The range is the y values or the output. So if I look at my table below of inputs and outputs, I'm asking for the domain. So all I am doing is listing the x coordinates. So my domain is 1, 2, 3, and 4. My range is my y values or my outputs. So 7, 8, 9, and 10. This lesson is about identification of what the x values or domain is and the y values or the range. So the first form that we're going to look at is as a graph. So for example A, this is called discrete data. The reason that it's called discrete data is because I had to physically pick up my pencil to go from one data point to the next. So I'm going to list all of my coordinates. It's probably the easiest way to see my x and my y values, and then I can easily list domain and range. So the A coordinate is -3, -2. My B coordinate is -1, 0. C is 1, 2. And D is 3, 4. So if I'm asked to find the domain, all I'm going to do is list the x values. So my x values are -3, -1, 1, and 3. I'm just looking at the x coordinate. To find my range, I'm listing the y coordinates. So my range is -2, 0, 2, and 4. So for discrete data, we're simply listing the x coordinates and the y coordinates. Example B is a continuous function. It is continuous because my pencil will not be picked up to go from left to right. So when I'm looking to find my domain, I am still looking at the x values. I want to see how far across the x-axis does my graph exist. So if I go as far left on the x-axis that I can, it hits at -2. And then I'm going to continue to the right until my graph stops, and my graph stops at 3. So that means there is an x value from -2 all the way to 3 and everywhere in between. So I write that as -2 is less than or equal to x, since we're dealing with domain, which is less than or equal to 3. So that means my x values are everywhere in the middle of -2 to 3. We're going to do the same thing with our range. So I want to see how low to how high my y values go. So it goes as low as -1, and I'm going to keep looking up and going up until my function stops, and it stops at 2. So my range or the y value goes from -1 up to +2. So I'm going to write that as an inequality. -1 is less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to 2. I chose equal to signs for both the domain and range because they were closed circles. So this y means we have a function. It is continuous everywhere in between from -1 to 2.